Welcome to Sibos Sidebar with FinTech Futures. My name is Sharon Kimathi, editor of FinTech Futures, and joining me today is Søren Skov Mogensen, Chief Growth Officer at Banking Circle. Hi, Søren.
Hi Sharon, how's it going?
It's all right. This is a new age, a new way of doing things.
Yes, indeed.
So this is quite exciting as it's our first one of these. So hooray! Right. Well, we're here to discuss one of Sibos's strong themes, which is digitization, but also a different landscape. In light of the COVID-19 crisis, will those who have fully embraced digital be ahead of the pack?
Yeah, good question. Well, I think there's a lot of variables coming into it. In our recent research, we've found that actually many of the existing challenges that the financial sector has been seeing for many years remain challenges. For example, impact of regulation is still something that 58% of our surveyed banks find as one of the key challenges. Equally, 53% of the banks find that implications of constantly involving customer expectations is a main challenge. So the point is that the challenges that we've seen for years remain challenges, and the direction and the evolution of the banking sector sort of remains in the same direction. The difference is just that this evolution has been, if anything, accelerated by the COVID-19 circumstances. And as always with evolution, the winner will not be the one that is the biggest or the fastest, but the one that is most adaptable. Big banks are continuously challenged with heavy legacy, complex data problems, reduced financial surplus, etc. On the other hand, they have very strong experience in handling crises and turbulent circumstances. Challenges are well funded. They're used to constantly pivoting, but they don't have the same experience in handling crises and turbulent circumstances like the one we're in at the moment. So getting ahead of the pack, to come back to your question, Sharon, will certainly be led by the digitalization, but not digitalization alone, but rather the skills that are learned by going through a digitalization effort. The ability to adapt is what's really important.
And has the crisis fostered greater collaboration between financial institutions?
Well, collaboration has always been happening and is already on the up. In 2019, as you know, we saw Apple and Goldman going together to launch a new credit card. We see the many partnerships Google are making. We see Starling Bank pursuing partnerships with other fintechs. So the examples are many. Equally, the regulatory encouragements are driving further collaboration, PSD2 being one example. And our surveys find that 80% of retail banks and 74% of commercial banks have already worked with infrastructure providers. So I guess the point is, going forward, there's always going to be an increased need for focusing on core competencies, which in turn means more outsourcing also on financial infrastructure.
And what do you think the risks are for financial institutions on the digital journey?
Well, I've been a part of driving many digitalization efforts myself, and what I find is that, and research finds this, that the main effort of digitalizing a process in a bank is not to create a slick surface or user interface. It is to truly automate the back-end processes. That's the challenge. That's the real pickle, and that's where third parties come in, because not always are banks able to do this on their own. Sometimes banks benefit from third-party providers to automate their financial infrastructure.
And how can external digital services and platforms tackle the challenges?
Well, if you look at, for example, what we do at Banking Circle, we offer virtual IBANs, which is a proposition that many banks don't have. And the nature of virtual IBANs is a little bit complex, but in the context of banks, for example, that will allow banks to offer their corporate customers to collect in a more seamless and a more agile way their customers' money in other countries and across borders. So virtual IBANs is a great example of how we, as an external financial infrastructure provider, can offer something to a bank that the bank wouldn't necessarily have on their shelves on their own.
Well, thank you so much for this, Søren. This has been really insightful. For more, you can obviously visit bankingcircle.com and also stay tuned at FinTech Futures. Thank you.
Thanks.